Hello, and I don't know about you, but if this year has taught me anything, I'm quite fed up with our planet. So this week I'm going to show you how to create your very own. So to get us started, I'm going to need a panorama picture that includes trees, grass, and a skyline. So I went down to Stammer Park. Now, if you're not sure on how to do a panorama photo, please do go and check out my last video where I showed you and explained on how to do this. And when you are taking your photo, try and make sure that the tree line takes up the middle third of your picture, your grass is the bottom third, and the skyline is the upper third. Great, now that I've got my panorama picture, I need to open this up in Photoshop so I can make it look more like a planet. So here we are in Photoshop. The first thing you're going to need to do is go to your image, go to image size, and we need to make the width and the height the same amount. So unlink the two, put your height measurement in the width measurement and OK it, and this should create a square image. And then the next thing we need to do is flip it. So image rotation 180 degrees. Go to filter, down to distort and polar coordinates. Make sure that rectangular to polar is ticked and OK. Right, so now we have our tiny planet, but you can obviously see in the top half, in the middle, where the picture has joined itself, we have a line. So we need to start getting rid of that. So grab your healing brush, press Alt to sample nearby, and just start blending out the line. Now, as you can see, the line goes down the skyline into the tree and halfway down the grass. Now, it's more important to try and get the top of the line and the bottom of the line, but the middle, you don't need to worry too much because we're actually going to cover that up. So keep sampling around the photo and keep blending until you're satisfied that it has covered it up enough. Also, if you look around the edge of the image, you can see these kind of streaky marks. Now we want to try and get rid of them as well, so just sample nearby and just start blending them out so we have a really smooth skyline. Now, I was lucky when I took this photo, I didn't have a single cloud in the sky. But if you do have clouds in the sky, you might just need to hill them and bring them together where the picture joins up. Next thing we need is a photo of us. So I set up a camera above me looking down and face towards the light. Facing towards the light is quite important because later on we are going to make it look like we are looking up into the sun. Now, I put that in Photoshop, cut myself out and dragged it into our planet. Now we need to resize me so I can fit me in the middle. Now I need to give myself a shadow so it looks like the sun is beaming down on me. So create a new layer, command click your thumbnail of you, go onto the new layer so you are now outlined, get the brush, 100% opacity and just color yourself in black. Right. Now you can see what I've done. I'll put the layer back down, Command T yourself so you can transform it. So now we need to shift the shadow around so it looks like it's falling in the right position. And just keep playing until you're satisfied. Now I've got it where I like it, we need to just tidy it up. First thing we want to do is just colour in the space in between the legs of the shadow. So get your brush, black, and colour that in. Then I'm going to turn the opacity down of the layer so it looks more like a shadow. And now we want to just erase the top bit where the edge of the planet finishes and the tree line begins. Also, just a little bit behind the ankles, and that arm doesn't really make sense at this angle, so I'm actually just going to erase that. Then we want to go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur, click that so it just takes away the harsh edges. Now we just want to change the layer style to linear light, and that will just make it look more convincing. Now we want to give your background more depth, so this will include changing the shadows on the right hand side. So create a new layer, then edit fill, 50% grey, make sure that's normal and okay. Make it an overlay and then get your burn tool. Now we've got to start thinking, is the light is falling from the left hand side, let's make sure the right hand side has a darker shade to it. So I'm going to go over all the tree line, some of the skyline, and just a bit of the grass as well on this side of the planet, just to give it a bit of depth. And then a bit later we will do the opposite on the other side, making it a bit brighter, but we will get to that in a bit. Now create another layer and press Alt and Backspace, and that will give it a solid black. Make sure it's the top layer, then go to Filter, down to Render, and hit the lens flare. Pick one style that you're happy with, make it brighter or darker, and then OK. Then move the layer up to the corner, and then change the style to screen. Now we can see the whole picture. We can start moving the flare so it looks more like it's hitting me. Now as you can see, the outside of the box, that is actually going to cause a harsh line. So we're going to start blending that into the picture. So if you get your erase tool, make sure you've got a soft brush and just go over the edge. If I turn off the layers, you can see more clearly what I'm doing. There you are. And then just get rid of that harsh line. Turn the layers back on. Now, if you're finding the lens flare is a little bit too much, you can also just turn down the opacity or turn it right up. But I think that's quite good. Cool, right, now that we've got our light source, we want to make it look like the tree line on that side has a more of a bleached look, that the sun is falling right on it. So grab your dodge tool and start working over the top of the tree line, and then I just gradually work my way down to the grass and then turn down the exposure and just finish right up to me. And now it looks like that the sun is giving more light on the left hand side of the image. And there you are, that's me on my tiny planet. And there you have it. I hope you enjoyed that, and if you do create your very own tiny planet, please tag me so I can see where you've ended up, and then I'll see you next week. Thank you so much for watching. If you could hit that like button, that would be great. Then hit the subscribe button so you never miss anything. And if you've got any suggestions for future videos, write them in the comments.